Welcome to Indiana
Indiana
Common Sense.
nonsense.
I am your host, DJ Tony, and this is our co host.
Harbinger Bryan Dedamore. Welcome to the tea, folks.
And we're going to give a couple shout outs to our friends, our supporters, our loved ones. We're going to start off with Katie Robbins, running for Indiana House District 31.
And Cynthia Weir, Senate District 17.
We've also got Beau, Indiana Secretary of State.
And we have our great Jack Chance running in Representative District 30.
And last but not least, we've got J.D. Ford, U.S. House, Indiana's 5th Congressional District. And I'm working off notes. This is my Neil deGrasse Tyson of politics. And, Neil doesn't get everything right all the time, but he knows a lot more than Chuck Nice. Chuck Nice is there to be co-host and give some humor and questions with the viewers that they may want to connect with, because I don't know everything and he doesn't know everything either, but he's been in the service of government for a couple decades at least. I'm going to just say that much. So we are here today on this episode, and we've got a few images for you. We've got show notes from our last episode. Go and check that out. We've also got an official email.
Yes, we do. It's called Indycsns at outlook.com for right now until we have the other new surprise. I'm in the business right now of putting a website up. And then we'll have a website email. But for right now, if you want to send your questions, comments, your vulgarities, and anything else, you can contact us at, again, Indy, that's INDY. By the way, everything's all lowercase. We don't want to make it complicated for you guys. Again, it's INDYCSNS at outlook.com.
Common Sense Nonsense. CSNS. Common Sense Nonsense at Outlook. So we've got our email, we've got our shout outs. Are we ready to go to our graphics? And should we start with Trump?
Shout out. Yes, I have a couple of shout outs. We have got a couple of people we want to shout out to. Actually, we want to send condolences.
That's right, we sure do.
One we're not for sure yet, but it looking like that two senators are one we're not for sure yet. So to my fellow Southern brothers and sisters in Kentucky, hope that your Senator Mitch McConnell is either recovering or if he's on his way down or up, depending on your point of view. Hope he hurries up and makes a decision on which way he wants to go.
We wish you the best.
And of course, South Carolina, we already definitely know that Senator Lindsey Graham, as much as I don't like a lot of his decisions, he did serve honorably in the U.S. Senate, and our condolences to him. Tea for you, Mr. Graham. And yes, it's hot.
Our condolences to those who have passed on. Now, I wonder how come this isn't showing anymore. There it is.
Yeah. Your lead, common sense.
For those angry about immigrants, here are a few reminders. Frederick Trump was an American. Elizabeth Trump was an American. Fred Trump he was born here, but Marion Trump wasn't. And Donald Trump was born in America to immigrant parents, married an immigrant, and that is the Trump line. So those angry about immigration, we encourage you to question your own hypocrisy and your own leadership, because that's just something that we want to share here on this show.
Yep, that's a fact. Don't You can't throw rocks when you live in a glass house. And I hate to say it, Donnie, but you can't stay here and say what you're saying about birthright citizenship when your house is full of it. Need I
Mm-hmm.
say any more? And let's face it, your current wife has got questionable immigration status as well. Just a little bit of tidbit to keep that in mind too.
We have.
An announcement for those who live in Grant County. We have an honored guest, if you want to call him that, an honored guest coming to Grant County. We have the Lieutenant Governor coming to have a town hall
On July 29th at God's House, Marion. July 29th, that is Wednesday. So the last Wednesday of the month at God's House here in Marion, 10:30 a.m. All
No,
right.
it's 8 to 6, 6 to 8.
Oh wait, that's Sunday morning service. That's right. The town hall is 6 to 8.
6 to 8 in the
6 to
evening.
8, and the address is 216 West 6th Street, Marion, Indiana. So once again, the 10 a.m. thing was for Sunday morning service. Feel free to join them for worship. But on the last Wednesday of the month, we are hosting here in our town Lieutenant Governor Mike Beckwith, and we encourage everybody to come out so that we can hold our elected representatives accountable for their words and actions and votes as we navigate this thing called life. So, July 29th, the last Wednesday of the month, come on out. Bryan will be there for sure. I'll be there pending my wife's work schedule and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm taking a sick day the next day just so I can make this because I work long hours. But bring up the other picture, the one with our yes. This is the reason why I want you to read this picture too behind this. Okay, as Lieutenant Governor Beckwith is going to be here, I want you to read this picture for a moment. I want you to see this, and I want you to take very good notes on this point because this is why we should this is why we have a citizenship show, the second one. As citizens, we have to ask the governor these questions. Governor, Lieutenant Governor, why are we first in RVs but 50th in clean air? The state with the most polluted rivers and streams, miles.
Mm-hmm.
America's worst state for pollution and natural environment. A country that failed every air pollution category. These are the leaders that are in charge of this, including the lieutenant governor. I want you to keep this in mind. Americans, we're number one in American coal ash dumping ground.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we used to be the former number one meth capital of America. Keep that in
Meth
mind.
capital.
Okay, the state, we're number one state with the long documented maternal mortality crisis.
Mm-hmm. Let me take the last half and you can weigh in after I read them. We're the first state to pass a near total abortion ban after Roe fell. And that one really surprised me because 2024 ish, they were doing it somewhere else. And I said, oh my gosh, what are these people going to do? And one of my friends said, we've been there for years.
And you can thank the guy on the right of this picture. That's Todd Rokita. This is the man who went and prosecuted an abortion doctor because a girl from Ohio, whose state also has a very restricted ban before Indiana put their ban in, came over to Indiana to abort a baby because someone had raped that child, if I remember right.
I can look it up, but that was
Okay.
likely it. I'm
And
sure I shared it.
Rokita prosecuted the doctor for performing that abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We did it first. We are the college dropout state. We are the 725 state. And what that's referring to is federal minimum wage, which hasn't been raised in over 2 decades. We are the bottom third state, for overall health.
Now that's serious. Think about that for a minute. That means that we are so unhealthy in this state that most of our people are dying from being unhealthy. What's the state doing about it? Look, I want you to take a look at these men again. These men are not trying to do anything to fix the problem. Now we go up to Minnesota, New York, New Jersey, Maine, all these others. We're going to use California for an example too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they've worked on projects to fix these problems, and they're some of the best states to go live in. Why can't Indiana do that? I'll tell you why. Because they are super majority. This is a super majority state. They don't believe in talking across the aisle. They want to do whatever they want. That's because we let them do whatever they want instead of talking with people, coming up with compromising and fixing stuff. Continue on.
We will continue on. We are where the Rust Belt meets the Stroke Belt.
Think about that. People like me, I'm 62 years old. I'm the one that's susceptible to strokes. That's because the statement above is because we're one of the worst states for health. So we're more susceptible to strokes. Indiana doesn't try to do anything about it. Not at all. They can, but no, they take away benefits to keep us from getting those things we need for it. Continue.
Two.
The physically inactive state. We are the most inactive state in the country. We do not encourage physical activity. We in fact we discourage it. And these four gentlemen are great examples of it. The two senators don't do nothing in Congress to help us. The governor doesn't care, and well, I'm going to talk about Rakita. He doesn't care about anything. Okay, and then the last one, high infant mortality rate. You can thank the man on the right, and you can thank the guy in the middle, Mr. Mike Braun, who used to be a U.S. senator, and you can thank the two senators for ending Roe versus doing their best in abortion. Rakita, because he doesn't like abortion, and Mike Braun, who definitely doesn't like abortion. Women's care. These guys end it all. These guys block it all. And then the state senate and the state representatives don't care. In order to have women's health, you also have to have the right to allow them to make decisions on their bodies. I'm not going to get in a long discussion on it because I understand that better than anybody. I've discussed this before in early episodes. And if I have to, I'll go back into a full discussion on why abortion is critical and why abortion should be legal in this state.
I would love to do an abortion episode.
We will, because
it,
I can speak as a man who has understand what it's like to have somebody rip a child that you wanted when a woman makes that decision and you don't have a say in that matter. But you know what? I understood one other fact. I don't like abortion. I hate it. But I also understand one other fact. Having two daughters and four female granddaughters. A woman has a right to make decisions for their bodies. Not Mike Braun, not Todd Rokita, not the state senate, not the house, not the state House of Representatives. These women and men should never make decisions concerning women's bodies. That's between the doctor and the women who are in there. Those choices are for the women to make. And if they want their husbands in there to be in there to make that decision, that is their right. It is her decision to bring them in. When you understand that one point, it's the woman's decision. And believe you me, Mr. Beckwith, I'll be happy to bring you the Bible verses that says abortion is not an issue in the Bible.
I've studied that too and done that debate for years. And that's the reason why I want that episode is because I'm a minister of music, but I always speak out against the evils of the church. And I think purity culture is one of the devout evils of the church because they shame women, but don't shame men or hold men accountable at all. At all, at all.
We'll be probably bringing that up in a later issue. But for right now, I just want to understand. You guys gripe that you want to make Indiana a family friendly state.
Mm-hmm.
Give a reason for families to want to stay in this state. Be a good citizen of this state. We as citizens are responsible to our leaders. We are the ones that hold Mike Braun, Todd Rokita, Jim Banks, Mr. Young, and I'm going to say this now, Victoria Sparks. It's 5th District. We are in 5th District territory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is our responsibility to hold them responsible.
Check out our last episode. It just got uploaded today. It talks about your duties, your responsibilities as a citizen to hold your elected officials accountable.
It's a continually fight. Freedom is home of the brave. Freedom is not free. People like me fight for your freedom. You want to honor a veteran? Fight to be a citizen. Citizen means that you go out, you hold your elected officials accountable for their actions. You call them out for their actions. Whether it's the mayor of Marion, the mayor of Gas City, mayor of Fairmount, any of them. And speaking of Gas City, now I'm going to talk about being a citizen of Grant County. I used to be a citizen of Gas City for many years. Now I'm going to call Gas City out. They're expanding. You know how far they're expanding?
I don't.
They're trying to take up the 26 Indiana 26, the one that Fairmount and Upland share.
Okay.
They're trying to expand that out. You know why? They own all that. You know the moratorium that the Grant County Commissioners put on the data center?
Mm-hmm.
If the city of Gas City owns that, that moratorium goes bye-bye. Guess what Gas City can approve?
A data center.
A data center. Yep, that's right. Now, I understand Gas City is progressive, and I know they like to expand out and grow. They want to be the biggest city in Grant County. And I applaud Gas City for their eagerness. I grew up under Gene Lynn's progressiveness. Okay? I knew Gene Lynn and Linda and Nikki Lynn quite well. Swam with them. Gene was always at our pool. Gene used to go into Bob's breakfast shop all the time, talk with his contingency. He was out there with the people all the time. I understand that. But I see Gas City getting too greedy. Greed destroys.
Mm-hmm.
And Gas City Council and Bill Rock Jr., this is Bryan Denimore calling a family out. Don't get too greedy. Kill that data center and destroy it. We don't need a data center in Grant County, period.
Mm-hmm. Or
You
Marion.
don't need it in Gas City. We don't need it in Grant County. We don't need it in Marion. We don't need a data center. All data center is information gathering for a rich corporation for their needs. It's not helping Grant County out one single bit. It's draining our resources. You want to help Grant County out, Gas City? I could agree putting solar panels out to help electricity generation. I could agree with windmills. That
Yeah.
helps us out.
Renewable resources. They are the future.
But a data center does not help us out.
It certainly does not. We've got one more graphic, and it's about voting.
Yes.
One poppy seed equals one vote. 15.
Yeah.
You take
Look
it.
at this graphic for a minute. By the way, this is compounded. This was created by the Heritage Foundation. You know, the nice conservative think tank that give us the big 2025 game plan that the Donald Trump administration is using right now to circumvent our government to his way of uh, running the country. This tells you how much fraud has happened in voting. I want you to take a look at all those red cups. That's how many votes have been cast. And I want you to take a look at that itty bitty white cup. You know what that itty bitty white cup is? Tell them what that itty bitty white cup is, Anthony.
That's the number of fraudulent votes.
Now take a look at all them votes and take a look at how many fraudulent votes there are. This is how Fox News, One American News, Newsmax, and Christian Broadcasting Network says this is fraudulent casting going on. This is how Donald Trump says we have fraudulent voting across the United States. That's his narrative. That little white cup among all those red cups.
Mm-hmm.
Voting is safe, folks. Remember this point. Stop eating up the lie that is being force fed down your throat. If you don't believe me, ask Fox News when they almost paid out $1 billion because of their lies about
Dominion
voting
I
machines.
remember that.
Okay.
They didn't have to pay? You said almost. I thought they did.
Almost $1 billion. It was 800.
Okay.
800
I knew they lost.
Million.
I knew they lost. So
okay.
Yeah, they had to pay a
Keep
couple
this
million.
in mind, folks. There is no fraud. There is not widespread fraudulent voting in the United States. Stop the lie. Stop the stupid stuff.
Common sense.
Nonsense walks. Common sense talk. This graphic right here is common sense. It's not nonsense.
I think most people can't conceptualize a million versus a billion. And that's what this graphic is supposed to help do. Fox News would put out just the picture on top, which is 1,500 versus a million votes, which is not the case. The case is 1,500 in all of the United States of America, which is 1.2 billion people. That is 1,200 times the graphic that Fox News would have put out. And that is why propaganda works. And we need to inform people, which is the point of this podcast.
Right. We're here. Well, I'll answer your question.
Yes, we want questions. Send us questions. Send us questions for candidates. Send us questions about things we say. Send us anything that you want us to talk about. We want to start connecting with you guys. I think this is maybe our third, fourth episode, maybe fifth. I don't know how far back.
Fifth.
Yeah, we took a couple months break over the winter with the storms, and I've got 4 kids, so.
I have 7 grandkids. Plus, I also keep in mind.
So you're good for babysitting.
I travel 182 miles round trip every day to work. So
Oof.
That's why I said if Mike Braun decides to turn I-70 into a toll road, I want you to keep. Yeah, I want to say this in mind too. I travel to my federal job. I can't say what my federal job is anymore. They've warned me about that.
Mm-hmm. We got to do the disclaimer. I'll look it up right now.
But I have to pay $20 a week to go to my job if he puts that toll road on. Think about that. $20 a week out of my pocket over and above what I pay for gas, which I paid $20 today for gas. Okay. So another $20 a week, $80 a month for tolls. Over and above what I have to pay. That's counting what I have to pay out for all my other expenses.
Gas maintenance ain't no joke.
Do you think I'm going to get paid to go into work? No, not a bit. Do I get to work from home? No. Mike Braun saw that. You know, we had more productivity when we had telework. Not anymore.
COVID changed the world.
COVID made it easy for us to work from home.
Exactly. They set up all the systems were already in place. COVID kind of made it mandatory, and guess what? We all still thrived.
Yep. And we showed that we had great production. And
Mm-hmm.
then ding dong, the orange man, the orange man, the orange man. Ding dong, the orange man came back. And guess what he did? He told us we all had to come back to work. And since I can't tell you the horror story of what happened when we all came back to work, which which I can't tell you the horror story because it's I'm not allowed to by law to tell you what
I
happened. But let's just say it was a horror story the federal government was not ready for.
I think that it'd be good to start our episodes at some point, like part of the introduction, part of the shout outs, part of the candidates, and then next, holding the government accountable. And we should make our first segment every episode
You want to hold the
what
government
our elected
accountable?
officials have done wrong since the last time we've talked that we should be contacting or voting against.
You want to hold the federal government accountable?
Of course we do. That's the whole
You
point
know
that
what
we're
the
here
first thing
for.
you want to hold the federal government accountable for? Make the Department of War be accountable for their budget. They have not balanced their budget in the last 15, 16 years.
Yep, I remember when the Pentagon was losing millions. Like, what?
Millions? You better add a B to that.
I was in junior high for 9/11 and heard the fighter jets go over my junior high school to go to the Pentagon. And not too many years after that, I read that the Pentagon hasn't passed an audit in however many. And that was over a decade ago. So, yeah, when I learned about it, it was millions that were unaccounted for.
I can tell you where they're losing money at.
All right, you can tell us where we're losing money at, and then I've got the disclaimer, and then we can sign off for this episode.
They're losing money because they're not auditing the contractors.
Contractors for what? What are we contracting out that the Pentagon, the highest I feel like our military head shouldn't
Okay,
have outside contractors.
here's a good example.
The government doesn't have people already.
Let me finish for a moment.
Okay, okay.
Okay, as an example, we'll use Department A of this branch of the department has an audit.
Mm-hmm.
That department passes their audit with flying colors.
Okay.
Say Air Force, for example, all their little small departments come up. Now they get to their contractors,
Mm-hmm.
the people that we give big contracts to build their their what
$1 trillion jets.
yeah, their $1 billion jets, their cargo planes, their stealth bombers and everything. Nobody audits them. The Space Force's new Golden Dome missile defense system that Donald Trump has graciously gotten a big, beautiful bill. I'm trying to be civil here. Um, okay, who audits that? Nobody, because there's no auditors for it. The Navy. You know how long it takes to build a carrier?
No, how long?
Not 5 years, not 10 years,
No.
not 11 years,
No.
but
It takes more than a decade to build a
it
carrier?
takes 12 years to build one of our super carriers.
Well, then how can it be technologically advanced?
Because it's that technologically advanced that it takes 12 years. They laid a hull in less than 2 years.
Yeah, that's what
But
I'm
it takes
thinking.
10 years to put all the
Systems, weapons
systems.
that we can't talk about that the butt
Yeah.
has that we'll never know. But we have a disclaimer.
But that's why we have one carrier that's beyond their time to be on service, still staying on service because the one replacing it isn't finished yet.
Mm-hmm. That's the military for you. That's all government, really.
But why?
Why? Why is the government bad at spending?
No. Why is it not finished?
Why isn't it finished? Is it
Why has it not been audited to find out why it's behind?
because it'll fail and it'll end in a dead end?
If doing my job I have to be audited and I have to take financial management certification
I
every
want to do
year,
that.
like clockwork, every 2 years.
Can I come? can I can I get some financial
Every
management?
2 years, every person that works in the financial part of the federal government has to take financial management work, have to take financial management courses.
Just like teachers, you got to stay current.
That's right.
But since you brought up another
If I don't, I can lose my job.
since you brought up another detail that we're not allowed to talk about work, it's a great time for the disclaimer, which goes for both of us. But he's the only one who needs it. It's the one I found it from what we already agreed on.
Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm. The
The
views
views
and
and
opinions
opinions
expressed
expressed
here
here
are
are
solely
solely
my
my
own
own
and do
and do
not
not
reflect
reflect
the
the
views,
views,
policies,
policies, and
or positions
positions
of
of
my
my
employer
employer
or
or
any
any organizations
organization
I'm
I'm affiliated
affiliated
with.
with.
Yeah, that is important.
Period.
That means
End of
my
subject.
church, my DJ clients, the school systems I work with, the cheerleading coaches, the musicians, the bars, the venues. This is all me and all my opinion. And I am more than willing to lose business for my views and opinions. And that's the benefit of being self employed. I remember when I had my cheerleading gym, I found out I was coaching a girl's father who had a Confederate flag on his Facebook. And the very next day, I plastered all my walls with Black History stuff. And ever since I found out about that, I have made sure that all of my businesses and all of my opinions are on the forefront because I don't have to take money that I don't want to take. And all money ain't good money.
Well, I have to be careful what I say too because um, when I go up for security clearances, I am monitored for what I say and do. In fact, I have to really be more. I can say what I would like to say, but sometimes I can't say what I should say.
And these are all the first episodes. Once we're done with the first season, I'm sure we'll have an editor who's making sure that we both keep our jobs so
Well,
that
like I said, I can't get more details on it
exact
because,
see because he'll say stuff, and that's also why we're not live. That's also why we're not live. We could mess up and still fix things.
well, it's another. I can't say in detail, but let's just say that some of my early actions before I started the podcast has come back and haunted me, and I can't
Oh.
get details on what that was. But let's just say it's caused me some issues. We'll
Hmm.
leave it at that.
Well, we have gotten to the end of our time. Thank you so much for joining us. I've got last week's episode up. We do have show notes. This week's episode, I'm trying to improve every week. We're going to have the show notes from this week. And
What are we going to talk about next week?
next week, who knows? I don't have anything on the back of my head right now.
You said you wanted to do abortion.
Yeah.
Let's do abortion next week.
All right. That means if we're doing abortion next week, that means I'm getting this episode out tomorrow so that we can promote the next episode for a full week. Next week, we're talking about abortion, everybody.
And I'm also going to do something else. I'm going to pop in and do a special Bill Henry common sense nonsense. I'm going down to Bill
Hey.
Henry's park. I want you to see how much the city of Marion respects their former mayors as we go down and see the dilapidated water park that they built for Bill Henry and the lack of getting it put together and used.
Wow, I'm looking forward to that because Bill Henry is one of my best friends. He's the reason I'm a politician, to be honest. He called Okay, we'll get into that next week. I gotta get going. We got the kids to watch, but
I
thank
gotta
you
go
for
home and
tuning
go to
in.
bed. I haven't. I gotta get up at 3 in the morning to get on the road and get to my job.
Cheers for the road.
Cheers for road. Hey, Christy, tea time from the north.
See all of our elected politicians.
Kapla.